This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
With no fees or minimums on checking accounts, it's no wonder that Capital One Bank Guy is so passionate about banking with Capital One. If he were here, he wouldn't just tell you about no fees or minimums. He'd also tell you about how Capital One cafes are open 7 days a week to assist with your banking needs. Yep, even on weekends. It's pretty much all he talks about, in a good way. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bankguy. Capital One N.A., member FDIC. Hey, and welcome to the Short Stuff. I'm Josh. There's Chuck, and this is Short Stuff. And it's a very solemn edition of Short Stuff, in fact.
That's right. Recently in real time and semi-recently in podcast time, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away on September 18th. I think she deserves a full show on her, which we'll get around to soon enough. But she died at 87 from complications from pancreatic cancer. And after serving for more than 27 years on the Supreme Court, she became the first woman in American history to lie in state in the U.S. Capitol building.
Yeah, on Friday, September 25th, like you said, our time is a little off, but as we're recording now, that's tomorrow, she will be the first woman to ever lie in state. And people will be able to visit, and they will hold a whole ceremony that we'll talk about. And ceremony is the right word because this is it's meant to be a very solemn, a very ceremonial occasion where the nation is basically called to mourn a very important person who gave to the country with all of her might, with all of her will, with all of her strength. Somebody like that is important enough to say, hey, as a country, no matter how divided we are, we're going to mourn this person. And that is the entire point of lying in state.
That's right. And now I'm confused whether we should talk in past tense or future tense.
We'll just flip-flop back and forth. It'll be like that movie Looper.
But she also will lie in repose at the Supreme Court, which is a different thing. But lying in state at the Capitol is quite an honor. The last time it happened was Representative John Lewis, right here from Georgia's 5th District. Before that, it was Representative Elijah Cummings.
Right.
I believe John McCain was only the 13th senator to ever lie in state.
And he was the last person from Congress to lie in state before Cummings and Lewis, I believe.
Yeah, and the point here is it's not like any politician that served the country is worthy of this honor, considering McCain was only the 13th senator.
Yeah.
I think only a handful of private citizens, including Rosa Parks, have ever been honored as such, and that was in 2005.
Yeah, and being a private citizen, Rosa Parks lied in honor, which is different, as we'll see. But lying in state is a very distinct honor, and it's actually, I don't want to say fairly new. The first time it was done in the United States in the Capitol was July 1st, 1852, with Henry Clay, who was a congressman from Kentucky and known as the Great Compromiser. And he was honored because he had worked basically his entire political life to stave off civil war. He failed posthumously, but during his lifetime, he managed to keep it from happening. And so he was the first person to lie in state in the United States Capitol.
Right. So maybe we should take a break as a little cliffhanger and tell everyone who actually makes the decision on when this happens right after this.
Work can be a little weird. One minute you're in a meeting that could have been an email. The next you're trying to decode corporate jargon that somehow means nothing. And don't even get us started on the quick sync that turns into a 45-minute deep dive.
Yeah, well, the truth is figuring out your career isn't always straightforward. Whether you're trying to grow, pivot, or just stay relevant, it can feel like you're navigating it all on your own. Well, that's where LinkedIn comes in.
That's right. LinkedIn can help you grow your career, helping you confidently navigate your path with insights, ideas, and inspiration from your professional community. You can stay up to date with the latest trends in your field, connect with people who get it, and discover opportunities tailored to your goals, your experience, and what actually matters to you.
Whether you're looking for something new or just trying to grow where you are, LinkedIn gives you the tools and connections to move forward with confidence. Because LinkedIn is the network that works for you. Visit linkedin.com/knowstuff to learn more. Hey everybody, we're here to talk to you about Wayfair, who believes that spaces should be functional, they should be comfortable, they should be well designed, and they can be well designed by you with their help.
Your updated space should feel more comfortable, inviting, and practical for everyday use. And we're talking about outdoor seating. We're talking about grills. We're talking about major appliances. If you need storage solutions, Wayfair can help you out. Patio lighting, rugs, decor. It is your one-stop shop for home.
Yeah. I mean, it's getting nice out, so it's time to think about living outdoors for the next few months. And Wayfair knows that outdoor furniture, it's heavy, it's intimidating to assemble. So Wayfair has stepped in and said, we're going to handle the hard part so you don't have to.
That's right. You can shop Wayfair Verified, your shortcut to the good stuff. And that means their team of product specialists are going to vet everything by hand using a 10-point inspection, testing things like, quality materials, functionality, and features, and even how long it takes to build that piece of furniture. And the overall experience save time, reduce hassle, and improved convenience.
Patio season is here, and these deals won't last. So head to wayfair.com right now to get your outdoor space ready for way less. That's WAYFAIR.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
All right. So, drum roll, please. It's Congress.
Nice. I hope there was a hi-hat, too, when you said Congress.
I can't do a hi-hat, although, ironically, I do have a drum set behind me in my basement.
There you go. Just turn around, Chuck. This is a whole other dimension we're just begging to incorporate here.
So Congress has to propose this and approve of this. It could come by resolution. Usually, you don't have to have a resolution. Usually, they can just say, come on, can we just agree on this one thing and not have to have an official vote on this?
Right. Congressional leadership just goes, hey, this is what we're going to do, and nobody objects. Man, there's so many political jokes I'm just avoiding right now. But yes, that's exactly what happens for sure. But you said something. You said something before that not everybody gets this honor. Lying in state and lying in honor are basically the same thing. It just depends on whether you're an elected official and whether you're a private citizen. It's much rarer for a private citizen to get it. But the only people who automatically are offered the opportunity to have their remains lie in state at the U.S. Capitol are presidents and ex-presidents. Isn't that right?
Is that true?
Yeah. So Congress can decide, hey, you're significant enough to lie in state.
But it's not automatic.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right. Unless you're a president.
Right.
So like you said, Congress has to propose it. And when they do, they alert this agency called the Architect of the Capitol, which I had not heard of before until researching this. Had you?
Well, it's a different AOC, that's for sure.
Right. Yeah, that's what they're known as is AOC, which I'm sure can be confusing, especially when AOC eventually dies in office 50 years from now. And is lying in state when the AOC takes care of AOC's state funeral.
That's right. The architect of the Capitol in this case is notified, and basically it's sort of just like any event that you're going to plan. A lot of cleaning has to happen. They power wash the front of the building. They wax and buff the floors. They want everything to look top notch. They fabricate a wooden stand to hold the casket and polish everything up. And they just, you got to get all the cobwebs out of there for something like this.
That's right. You've arrived when they're power washing the Capitol for your funeral, your viewing, Yeah.
And I also wonder what that government contract looks like.
Right. So the stand that they put your coffin on, sometimes they construct them for sure, but they also have one. Those things are called catafalques, And a catafalque is just that. It's a decorative ornamental stand that a coffin is resting on. And so when you see images of somebody lying in state, look at what their coffin's on. And if they're a president, there's a really good chance that that's a pine catafalque that was first built to hold Lincoln's remains in 1865, which, my goodness, I can't imagine too many higher honors than having your coffin placed on the catafalque that was originally constructed for Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, what I'm curious about is if the wishes of the person or the president is to be cremated post haste, what they do.
I don't know. I would guess that they would probably revise build a different catafalque, or whatever. I would hope that they would acknowledge the dying person's who is lying in state's final wish, no matter what it is. But
I think you have to. You
would think so. But I would guess that they would do that for sure. They would just adjust their MO basically. But the thing is you can also say, I don't want to lie in state in any form, whether cremated or anything like that, or your family can say that. And in fact, Truman's family and Nixon's family both declined the honor of having the remains of those former presidents lying in state in the Capitol. And instead, I know Nixon for sure was just lying in repose in his library in Yorba Linda. And the only difference between lying in repose and lying in state is whether you're basically on public display as part of a state funeral or not. If it's part of a state funeral, you're lying in state. If it's not, you're lying in repose. And so Justice Rehnquist's family also declined the offer, and instead he lay in repose in the Supreme Court building.
That's right. And I don't think we mentioned, this all takes place at the Rotunda.
Right.
That's the floor they're buffing and shining up. There's obviously got to be a spot for media. They set up these risers because there's an actual ceremony hosted by congressional leadership. And, you've got to have all the nuts and bolts in place, the lighting and the microphones. And like I said, it's like any other event. They just want it to go down very smoothly and very respectfully. Yeah. And by all accounts, very cleanly.
Yeah, power washed and everything, right? So there was this anthropologist that this How Stuff Works article interviewed, and her name is Shannon Lee Doughty, and she is an anthropologist at University of Chicago, and she puts this really beautifully. She said that ceremonies like lying in state, are meant to embalm an idea that basically this person, especially upon their death, becomes like this electrified, concentrated reminder of national spirit, of, America itself, of all of the things that are good about America, that like their work in life and everything they did, especially in death when people, forget about everything else and really focus on the good things that the person did, that those good things are really about pushing the country forward or keeping the country in a good state. And that's one of the reasons, the main reason for lying in state is to really just kind of say, hey, everybody, just let's remember all this. Let's focus on that. To embalm an idea, I thought that was a really good way to put it.
Yeah, to unite the country for 4 to 12 hours. Tops. I know that's a cynical view, but that's kind of the truth.
Yeah. Cynicism and rationalism are basically interchangeable these days, it feels like.
Ew, that's a good quote, too.
Thanks, Chuck. I appreciate that. You got anything else about lying in state?
I got nothing else. I look forward to doing so myself.
Yeah, me too. I'll be sitting there weeping over your casket, wailing for days on end, Chuck.
I appreciate that.
Well, that's it for us. That's it for Lying in State. That's it for Short Stuff. Short Stuff is out.
Stuff You Should Know is a production of iHeartRadio's How Stuff Works. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.